For the longest time, there's been somewhat of a dichotomy in the world of video games, a split between family-oriented consoles and the edgier, more mature-focused counterparts. In the early 90s, Nintendo, much as it is today, was firmly entrenched in the family console space. There was Mario, there was Zelda, all games you could comfortably play in front of your parents. Sega, however, took a different approach. If you wanted darker, more violent games, the Sega Genesis was the console to get, and to many it was considered the cooler console when compared to Nintendo's offerings. While there were obviously exceptions and games that don't fit the mold, this has generally been true for the last 3 decades. Nintendo on the family side, Sega, then Sony and Microsoft on the other. In portable gaming, a similar divide occurred. The Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Advance holding the line on Nintendo's side. Eventually, Sony would join the fray, providing competition with the popular PSP, which was released around the same time as the Nintendo DS. Both were successful. But smartphones were spreading across the globe, and with them mobile gaming, which many feared would encroach on portable console sales. What did Nintendo do? They kept the DS console, sticking with the dual-screen design, but adding more unique features like glasses-free 3D to create the 3DS, released in February 2011. The 3DS offered an experience and game library so different from mobile gaming that it also proved successful. So what would Sony do? Produce the most premium gaming device in existence, and that's what they did. Design of Things 20, PlayStation Vita. The Vita, released in December 2011, is a result of really aiming to create the most technically superior portable console possible. Here we have the PS Vita first generation. When you first hold one of these in your hand, you'll notice how heavy and solid it is. It's definitely not a cheap device in any sense of the word. Pulling in its predecessor, we can easily see a clear evolutionary path to the PS Vita from the PSP. The clear plastic buttons and R and L triggers, the general shape with inverse round corners, the faux metal frame running around the outside of the device. The key differences are easy to see as well. An additional analog stick and much smaller buttons. The PSP buttons are large and have a lot of travel and play to them, while the Vitas are small and tight, creating more of an audible, snappy click when pressed. The front of the whole Vita, except for the areas around the buttons, feels like it's covered in glass, as is the center plate on the rear. There's a lot of debate about this on Reddit. Anyone have any definitive answers? On the top, on the chrome-like rail, there's a power button and volume buttons, which feature engraved concentric circles, a slot for the game card, and a mystery port that ended up being used for absolutely nothing. There was some speculation that it was a video out. The showcase feature of the device is this large 5-inch screen, and this is decadence. An OLED screen with its perfect blacks, vibrant colors, and contrast. In 2011. Truly premium. It wouldn't be a couple years later, in 2013, that Samsung started making these a regular part of its smartphone lineup. There are also a ton of additional hardware features baked into the Vita. We can see a front and rear-facing camera. On the back, there are these odd little ellipses, which are touch sensors. Honestly, I've never played a game that has used these, but they are here. Otherwise, the console has basically every feature possible, even Sony's motion control sensors built in. There was streaming to a console, Bluetooth, and so many other features, only the best for the Vita. Perhaps there was some focus group or cost-benefit analysis, but whatever the case, the second version, the PS Vita 2000 or Slim as it was commonly called, was changed from the original in a number of interesting ways. Look closely. One clear difference is the absence of the chrome ring around the console. It's now just plastic. But in many ways it feels like a more cohesive design. And speaking of cohesion, here's one of my favorite details. The Slim leans heavily into its repetition of circles. Of course, the buttons are circular, along with the analog sticks, but take a look at everything else now. The speaker grill dots now form a pattern that fits in a circle. Start and select and the PlayStation key are also circular instead of the squished ellipses. Overall, it just feels more refined. Looking at the top, the mystery port is gone, and the charging port has changed to the micro USB standard. The rear of the device has also been altered. The touchpad's made larger and more round. The pattern changed from the trademark geometric PlayStation shapes to a grid of dots with the PlayStation logo slapped in the middle. The new version was lighter, if a bit not as premium feeling, and thinner, making it more comfortable for portable gaming. The battery lasted longer as well. So there were a lot of good things. But is this the ultimate PS Vita? The answer is highly debatable. Why? That expensive, premium, baller OLED screen, yeah, that's gone here, replaced by a cheaper LCD. In fairness though, the LCD was quite nice and quite bright. The hardware evolution of the PSP to the Vita, and from there to the Vita Slim, is an interesting snapshot into Sony's search for the perfect portable hardware to compete with Nintendo. The software on the PS Vita was a unique, bubbly, 3D motion-infused interface. Not as slick, smooth, clear, and minimal as the PSP software, but worked well for its intended purpose. Overall, the Vita is an amazing device, but it failed to captivate the market or measure up to Sony's expectations. Perhaps it was bad marketing, failure to get publishers and developers excited about it, or, as many claim, the overpriced proprietary memory cards. Whatever the case, as to the hardware itself, there is no arguing that it is something special. Until next time on Design of Things.